Hello, everyone. I wanted to take some time today to discuss the 8 branches of classical Chinese medicine. All right, so some of you may be patient, some of you, this may be completely new concept that you've never heard of, but there is a lot more to Chinese medicine than just acupuncture and herbs. So I'm going to go ahead and read through the list of the 8 branches, what it consists of, and then I'll talk a little bit about each. And so don't mind me, I am reading off some notes here. So the first branch of Chinese medicine is meditation or self-cultivation, okay? Followed by exercise, right? So things from a classical Chinese medicine perspective, things like Tai Chi and Qigong, movement, right? Some sort of movement exercise that is not necessarily intense, but just moving the body. So yoga can be classified under there, walking, things like that. Mindful movement. Then there is food therapy or nutrition is the third branch. The fourth branch is bodywork, or what we would call tuina or self-massage. And then followed by that is cosmology or the astrology, basically the rhythms in nature and time. Okay. Then the sixth branch is Feng Shui or the environmental energy that's around us in our home, in our workspace. Then the seventh branch is Herbology, herbal medicine. And the last branch is acupuncture. So people sometimes wonder why are herbs and acupuncture at the bottom of the list, right? And part of that is the age of the medicine, right? As chronologically how it was developed over time, keeping in mind that this is all thousands and thousands of years old, right? So classical Chinese medicine as a whole is about roughly 8,000 years old. Acupuncture is more along that 6,000 years old, probably longer by now, but more in that ballpark, right? And so we, when we talk about these things, there's an age factor to it, but there's also a level of power related to the order of the 8 branches, right? And so, what I usually convey to my patients in the office is that what you can do for yourself is that much more powerful, or 100 times more powerful than anything anyone else can do for you. Hence why the herbology and the acupuncture at the bottom of the branches, or at the bottom of the order, okay? End of the list. And so you have to receive acupuncture from somebody else, from a practitioner like myself, right? A licensed acupuncturist. You may receive herbal prescriptions, herbal medicine from a practitioner, right? Some people are able to provide themselves with herbs and have that knowledge and skill set, but usually it's provided by somebody else. And so, but the first branch, right? Meditation, self cultivation, that is all you. That is something that you do for yourself. So it's the process of knowing yourself. It's an essential tool about learning about yourself, creating peace of mind, reducing your stress, building up your chi, building up your energy, your life force, as well as many other benefits, right? We know that it's helpful. Meditation has been found to reduce stress. Meditation is found to help reset the nervous system, okay? Helps us to focus our mind again and not be caught up in the chaos of everything going on around us, right? A lot of my patients, one of the things that they will mention is they have trouble falling asleep. Because they can't turn their mind off, right? And that happens even throughout the day, right? Our mind just keeps going. We're jumping from one thing to the next. But practicing meditation, even mindful breathing, right? Which is a form of meditation. People think that meditation is just sitting there with your eyes closed or laying down with your eyes closed and like thinking about nothing. But really, it's a mindfulness practice, and it can just be simply being mindful and aware of your breath. And so you can practice this in so many ways, right? So there's breathing, there's doing tapping, things like that are all meditation practices, right? So we're able to stop that chatter, refocus our mind, recenter ourselves, ground ourselves by doing this practice, right? In whichever way resonates for you. And I'll be going in further into these 8 branches as we move along and I create more content. But this is going to be just a rough overview of all of them. So exercise, a little self-explanatory, right? So movement, right? And I mentioned earlier mindful movement. So many of us will go to the gym and exercise, and that's wonderful, right? We should be active and making our bodies, keeping our bodies active and healthy in that way. But there's something to be said about moving mindfully. I see so many times when I do go to the gym that people are just kind of going through the motions. Like they just jump on the treadmill and they start running, or they start lifting weights and they're just doing it. And some people are very focused and they're very attentive to their reps and how they're moving their body. But many times it's kind of like you're thinking about something else rather than what you're actually doing. Just an observation, right? And knowing that I myself have done that in the past. But exercise in the Chinese medicine perspective, Tai Chi, Qigong, those are all very mindful movement exercises, and they have an effect on our body as well as our mind, okay? And we know that exercise from the Western traditional sense of, going to the gym, going running, things like that, also has a really positive effect on our mind as well, right? And it allows us to strengthen our muscles, create balance in the body, physical balance, builds our bone density, allows us to circulate our energy, circulate our blood through all of our organs, through our muscle tissue, right? Increase our breath, our lung capacity. And all of these are very beneficial, but the key, I think, is being mindful of what you're doing. So whether it is going to the gym, although right now you're probably not, you're probably exercising at home. So your home gym, if you're walking on a treadmill, running, cycling, doing yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, any of these practices, being mindful of your movements, that is key. It's very essential. All right. The third branch, again, nutrition, right? This, again, is everything that you can do for you. I can make recommendations on what you should eat and what are nutrient dense foods, or, how to make adjustments in your food intake so that you have more optimal effect on your digestion, things like that. But ultimately, it's your decision what you put in your mouth and into your body. Okay. But it's very, very important for our health. Okay. So many times I've heard this, and I still find it very strange in the world that we live in, considering how much research is out there. But I still have patients who will come to me that have cardiovascular conditions or even digestive conditions like IBS, and they've told me that their doctors say their diet has nothing to do with it, that it won't matter what they eat, they're always going to have whatever condition it might be. And I think that's just mind-blowing, because we can 100% know that food does have an effect on our body, and what we put into our body will affect everything in some way. So very important for our health. It's fundamental. We all need to eat, right? And so we need to understand, or have a general understanding at least, of the energetics of food and how it affects our body, okay, and what properties certain foods have, and how it plays into our health and what is beneficial to us individually. We're all very different. We all have different constitutions. We're all born with different levels of constitution, and depending on our lifestyle choices as we've grown through our youth and into adulthood, it's all going to change. And based on what has come up within our systems, our patterns, we're going to need to make adjustments. And understanding what the effects are of food on our body is very important. And just as Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. So food is medicine. It's a medicine that you can give yourself each and every day. And so making the choice to put something good and nutritious into your body is so healing. All right, the fourth branch is cosmology or astrology. Now, this isn't something that I am an expert on at all. Something I do like to read about and over time, whenever I have a chance, to learn more about. But in traditional Chinese medicine, the principles are founded in Taoist philosophy, okay? And so a lot of this focuses on the observation of the rhythms found in nature and the cycles that are apparent in nature, and they are mimicked in the body as the chi circulates through our body and at the different life stages, okay? So everything has a cycle. For men and women, it's different. But our energy shifts throughout the day. Our energy shifts throughout different periods in our life, different number of years. Every 7 years for women, there is a shift, and if I remember correctly, it's every 9 for men. And so, so this is what this is relating to, right? And so understanding these cycles and being able to adjust with the seasons, being able to adjust with the stage that you're in life, allows for better harmony and balance. Okay, the fifth branch is Feng Shui, or the energetics of your home, your workspace. Right now, we should all be home, staying safe. And so the energetics of your home is very important. And so it allows you to know where you are, right? And it has a really big impact on the energy of your body's energy, and also the energy of your home or the space that you're working in, okay? And so having this understanding, it even has to do with the interaction of nature around you, not just within the four walls of your home, but the interconnectedness of the energy with the environment outside as well, okay? All right, and following that, the sixth branch is Tuina, or Bodywork, okay? It's a classical Asian bodywork style that precedes acupuncture, okay? It's even older. And it describes the one of the oldest Chinese words to describe massage is ama. All right, so ama is a specialized form of bodywork, and it combines deep therapeutic circular pressure with your fingers. So it's acupressure point stimulation within the Chinese medicine principles. Okay, so they already had a sense of where these certain areas in our body that responded to pressure before acupuncture itself, of treating with needles, was developed. Okay, and so this is really good for self-assessment and also good for self-treatment. Okay, so again, something that you can do for yourself. Then the seventh branch is herbology, or herbal medicine, like we talked about. So natural plants, minerals, even animals have a energetic quality that we talked about in the nutritional aspect, right? But they have this ability to assist the body. So what we can call allies, right? They are allies to help us achieve balance and homeostasis, and also to have an impact on our health and energetics within our body. Okay, so each herb has its own energetic nature, and then it enters a specific organ or channel, and it has a positive result on the body based on that, on what we're using and its purpose. Okay, and so an herbologist can formulate a combination of herbs for you and consider how these herbs interact. So it's always very important to understand what the herbs are doing and how they interact with each other, to then know how it's going to interact with you, and also what your pattern is. So this is something that you want to seek out through a certified or licensed practitioner, depending on the state that you live in. Okay. And then lastly, acupuncture. Okay, so in the modern sense, it's the use of sterile needles, right? They're all disposable, single use, and they're inserted into specific acupuncture points along the body, along different channels and meridians, in order to create balance and help to move your chi, circulate your energy, right? Relieve pain, assist your body in healing. And this is, again, done by a practitioner. Okay, so these last two branches are all done by a practitioner. Even the sixth branch, the bodywork, can also be done by a practitioner as well, but it also can be done by yourself. So again, you want to follow these branches. It's very important. So you may not be, like myself, I'm not an expert on the cosmology or the astrology portion. I'm not an expert on the Feng Shui, although I do try to have an understanding of what areas of my home are related to what energetics of the five elements they're related to, and kind of create that sense of balance there, but definitely not an expert. But the others that you can practice for yourself, meditation, exercise, nutrition, all very important to educate yourself on. And part of what I'm doing is to help that process, help to educate you on how to use these branches to your benefit to stay well. And then the other aspects of seeking out care from somebody else. Again, I'll reiterate, that which you can do for yourself is so much more powerful than what anybody else can do for you. So I really encourage you to explore at least meditation, breath work. I've already posted a video about breath work. I think it's really beneficial to practice this, especially in the state we're living in right now. Taking that time to go inward, focusing on your breath, increasing that lung capacity. It is the time to really focus on that. And we are in a from an elemental perspective, 5-element perspective, we are in the year of metal. And so metal relates to the lungs. Okay, so it's not completely shocking from a Chinese medicine perspective that right now the pathogenic influence that we're seeing going around the world and through this coronavirus pandemic is affecting the lungs, okay, predominantly. And it's creating pneumonia and things like that. But I digress. It's important to understand how all of this comes together and really has an influence on not only and myself as an individual, but the community as at large as well. And so when we can all be in balance, I think the community overall will also come into balance as people start to shift. We all have an influence on each other, and I think this is part of what has called me to create this platform, is to create that ripple effect, right? I am taking care, I am doing these practices for myself, and therefore I share it with somebody else. You do it at home, right? You start to implement these practices. Your spouse, your children start to implement these practices. Then the people you speak to, right, or interact with online start to do these practices because you're sharing it with them. And so it creates this ripple effect and the whole community at large benefits. All right, that's just my belief in how we can all create a world that is well and healthy. And on that note, that is the 8 branches of Chinese medicine. Hopefully it wasn't too overwhelming, but just a brief overview. And I do look forward to creating more specific videos on some of these topics. And so please feel free to comment or leave a question. I believe it should allow you to post comments no matter what tier level you're at. And so this should hopefully create an opportunity for me to know more about what you're looking to hear more about. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you are staying well and healthy, you and your whole family. Much love. Thank you.